Hello, community. Thank you for listening in on this recording. I've been giving a lot of attention to the thespian archetype. Part of my own journey has been to work with the wheel of soul's return, to uh, to work with the oracle cards, and to write a lot about my own process within this body of work. And the thespian grabs my attention more than most of the archetypes because it's the one I struggle with the most, I guess. And I think for a lot of creatives, it is the one that we struggle with more than any other, because it's the archetype where we have to stand on that stage of life and say, okay, this is what I have, this is what my offering is. Now I've got to bring it out into the world. We're very good at doing our inner work, looking at our past and our present, and exploring the childhood wound, doing our personal development work. I don't think any of us here on this platform would say, no, I'm not very good at that, because we wouldn't be here if we weren't good at that, or we weren't willing, at least, should I say, to do that kind of work. We know that by doing our personal development work, we're going to find a sense of freedom. We're going to get to know who we are. We're going to get to know what our gifts are and how to bring them out from that place of wounding. And hopefully as well, we have this animistic and spiritual connection to life. We're doing our soul work, hey? So when we get to the thespian, we have the creativity, we have the art, we know what our offering is, but there is that struggle then in becoming an entrepreneur, and becoming the entrepreneur of our gifts. We kind of balk at, or we hold back from, or we say, oh, that's not me. I'm no good at selling myself. All kinds of things come into the picture then. Yeah, I will sit and create. I will do art till it's coming out my ears. I'll create bodies of work. I will create a platform. I love updating my website. I like painting. I've got a big painting on the go at the moment. I love writing books. But I know that when it comes to selling it, it's a very, very different picture. And that's the entrepreneur. And that's the balance between creative and entrepreneur. And if you think of the mandala, how do we bring those two together? That is key. So if you are more the creative, struggling with the entrepreneur, it's really worth doing a mandala process and seeing if you can find some way to engage more fully in your entrepreneurship. Because there's no point in having a soul purpose and a gift and all of that if we're not going to share it with the world. Yeah, it's otherwise that just becomes about self-aggrandization. How do I say that? Aggrandization. It's all about me kind of thing. I'm just doing it for myself. And there are so many people out in the world who could benefit from your gifts, from our gifts, from what we have to share and what we've learned from our own processes. So why wouldn't we want to do our absolute best to make sure others receive what we have to share? So that is the thespian getting up on the stage of life and saying, here I am, this is what I have, and I want to share it with you. It's as simple as that, but it's not easy. Eh? So marketing is one of the things that's, so I screw my nose up. Marketing. How am I going to manage my marketing? How am I going to promote my offering? All those sorts of things. And I think that is just as much part of our spiritual practice as anything else. Yeah. It's part of us that's saying yes to our gift and not holding back. And for some of us, our soul purpose isn't necessarily something that we're trying to sell or promote, put out there into the world. It could be very different in that respect. But there is this ability to even talk about what we do. When somebody says to you at a function, oh, what do you do? If it's not easy for us, then there's a bit of entrepreneur there that's stuck, that isn't sure what he or she should be saying or doing, or playing down, maybe even playing down what it is that they hold dear to them, and not really wanting others to know very much about it. So yeah, this is what this part of the journey is about. And so if you have the cards, you have the oracle cards, look up the thespian, work with that thespian archetype for yourself. Look at what's connected to it. So repetition. Repetition is the resource for for that part of the journey where we need to go into that apprentice role and look to really look at what is repeating itself here. So if as a thespian, as a struggling entrepreneur, you are looking back over your journey and you're saying, well, what are the repeating behaviors that I've experienced since that time? Yeah, since I very, very first started to want to bring something into the world. So my first piece of art that I showed my parents when I was little, did that get the appreciation that I needed at that time? Did I get the encouragement to do more? Or was it frowned on? Was it not good enough? Was it criticized? What actually happened in that moment? Yeah. So what repeats itself? So use the apprentice archetype to have a look at what repeats itself over and over again. Yeah. And then what do we create more of? What is our particular gift that we're creating from? And then how am I going to bring that into the world? And if there was something that got in the way of me showing myself to others, and that is in any way dysfunctional or disempowering, then I need to do some work on that, some really deep work on that part of me, and start to maybe practice saying, hey, this is what I do. This is what I'm bringing out. This is what I'd like to share with you. Yeah, it's about practicing being able to do that and be clear with it. Now, I can still struggle in some areas of that. I get really tongue-tied when I'm wanting to share my work. I don't find it easy, and hence I keep coming back to the thespian, the work I need to do around that archetype. So here I am, and because I keep going through the wheel and I keep addressing some of the stories and the experiences I've had with the journey, I'm, of course, developing and finding out more about myself and what I'm here to do and to bring. And so my work is changing. And some of you may have noticed my website's quite different these days. Now, the level 1 on this community membership, it's still the journey with the Wheel of Souls Return. It's all about the cards and the archetypes. I've just added a new page about the archetypes in there, which you can see as a video on each of them. So I share a bit more in depth with them. But ultimately, it's up to you to find what they mean for you in your life, of course. Yeah, these are just some guidelines, what I've experienced with them. And so that part of my work is still very much the same, yeah, where the oracle cards are concerned and the Wheel of Souls Return. But for the majority of my work, I am focusing much more on the feminine archetypes and the feminine mysteries, and looking at how we as women have had to overcome some of the big challenges we might have had in our lives. So yeah, a lot of focus on that. And the Power of 13 has now replaced the apprenticeship that I was holding previously. And that, of course, then informs the teacher training that I hold for conscious dance. And what I thought I would do as part of this session, and be a little bit of a thespian myself, is to go through the website with you and show you some of the pages that you can read and find more out about regards this work. I want to show you the changes that I've made, and I want to show you how you can access certain parts of the experience. So let's see how I can do that. Oh, and the other thing is that I want to share with you, let's get it here, this simplified version of the Wheel of Soul's Return and the 9 stages of soul work that I've developed. So let me just show you that first, and then we'll go to the website. So the Wheel of Soul's Return, 9 stages of soul work. So just to spell it out a bit more clearly, what we're doing with each of the archetypes. To begin with, here is our inner work. We start with our inner work. I think it's really important that we do our inner work before we start trying to share our offerings with others. At the center of it all is the seer, the gift, remembering who we are. The first segment, the dreamer, reconnecting our soul, reconnecting to the intention of soul work, yeah, and having a spiritual understanding of the soul's journey. The innocent, the wound inspires our aspiration. So coming back to childhood, doing that inner child work, remembering what we loved as a child, what were our solutions for the difficult moments that we had? What have we had to overcome? And what did we love doing? What was most important for us as children? The spirit rebel, what is mine to do? Forging the path. So who were we as adolescents? How did we leave home? The leaving home story is very important here. Who did we connect to? What was our tribe? What was that all about? And how did we separate out from family and forge our own path? Yeah, who did we become? And the leaving home story helps us to identify that rite of passage that has always been there. When we left the womb, when we first went to school, our first job, all these things, they are rites of passage, but we might not always remember exactly what happened. But generally, we can really remember our leaving home story and what happened there and how that's informed us. So spirit rebel. The apprentice, changing perspectives, owning our story. Repetition. Repetition is such an important resource to embody and to understand and to look at the repeating patterns throughout our lives. And then learning how to change our perspective. So something that we see as being a victim story, we might now want to change that to isn't it great that happened and this is what it taught me and this is what I've learned from it. So owning our story rather than being a victim to it. The artisan, transforming life experience into creative expression. Now what we're doing there is we're taking everything that we've learned and starting to create from it. So giving it a life force of its own. So for me, I've experienced my life. I understand now what it's all about and why certain things have happened to me the way that they have. And it's up to me now to make creative expression from them, which is the body of Middle Earth medicine, which is these, the study of these archetypes, the movement, the dance, the poetry, the creative writing. It's all part of my own journey that I'm now formulating into Middle Earth medicine. And then the thespian, sharing our offering with the world, which is what I've been sharing about today. So how do I share my offering with the world? And is that difficult? And what might I need to shapeshift into in order to be able to achieve that? Yeah. The sovereign, owning our gift, keeping leadership healthy. Yeah. And that's very, very key for us when we step into any form of leadership role, whether it's just the leader of our own gift and talent, whether it's a leader holding space for others or even more than that. How do we keep that healthy? How do we keep the ego healthy within that? We recognize where it's come from and who we were from the very beginning of time. The sacred fall, embracing humility, learning from failures. Sacred fall is so key, for the majority of people who step into their sovereign self, who end up in very high level of leadership qualities and holding a lot of responsibility, can often forget about humility and forget their failures, and it's all grandiose and all about the ego. and forgetting that, that they have had failures in life, that they have come from a wound, and that, sometimes we just need a bit of a kick up the backside to remind us who we truly are and not get too big for our boots. And then the wise elder, a legacy for the children. What we do today could affect many, many lives of others. And that's what's most important for us, is to remember that whatever our gift is, it's here as an expression to support others with. It's not just about ourselves, and particularly for the generations who follow. So that is this version of the wheel. It's a simplified version, I think probably helpful, particularly for beginners, and also because you can see more detail, written detail within that. The other wheel is very picturesque, and to look at it initially might be difficult to understand. But what I'd like to do now is just show you the website. So I'll just go to that and share a few things that I'd like you to see on it. Okay, so here we have the website, From Wounds to Wisdom, Awakening the Mysteries of the Feminine, where soul and story meet. I'm still working on my niche, but these are the words I'm sharing at the moment. I'm doing a wonderful marketing course that's very, very ethical, and teaching a lot about the ethics of marketing and creating a beautiful marketplace, where everybody supports each other. So what we have here is so there's a bit about me and the mentoring and soul work that I do. You can also read my media kit there if interested at all. And then there's my philosophy. My philosophy is what I believe in, what is important for me, and where this work is rooted in also. You might like to read about that. What is Middle Earth medicine? Very important. Where does Middle Earth medicine come? Why is it called Middle Earth medicine? So many people say to me, oh, it's about Tolkien, is it? Tolkien used the words Middle Earth because that was where this land was originally called Middle Earth back in medieval times. A lot of Old English will use Middle Earth as its translation. Tolkien knew that, and that's why he called his work Middle Earth. Dreamweavers and guides, you can see our teachers on this one, and we have our first qualified teacher, Elishiva, who you will have met somewhere along the way here, I'm sure, who's recently qualified as the first qualified teacher for Middle Earth medicine, which is wonderful. Congratulations to her. There's some testimonials you might like to read, and a gallery. And then we have the path. First thing I want to ask people is, are we a fit? Are we a fit? Are we going to be able to work together? So I ask people to have a look at that, to read through it and say, well, is this going to work for me? Yeah. Then there's an introduction to the Wheel of Soul's Return, which you'll all be quite familiar with. The polarity of purpose, or Mandala's magic, the magic of Mandala. This is about working with polarity, or the power of opposites. Vital part of the work that we do. It's our whole body of work is infused with polarity work. Finding the opposites and things, a bit like what I was saying about the entrepreneur and the creative needing to be in harmony with each other. And then we have the community membership, and I'll come back to that in a moment, because that's what you're part of. The Power of 13 Circle, which has replaced the apprenticeship that we hold and is a prerequisite for teacher training. It's a 13-month course that you can take part in, and is certificated, so that you can receive a certificate if you fulfill all the assignments and the work in hand. And if you want to share this work under the label of Middle Earth Medicine Ways with your communities. And then we have the teacher training. So lots of information there. That's the journey from beginning to the completion of this work and everything it entails. I then have a shop with my books, the podcast. Do listen to some of the podcast stories. They are wonderful. Some amazing people from around the world who share very, very interesting tales about their own soul purpose. And I absolutely love having those conversations with them. I have a blog, which I write in from time to time. And there is a piece about soul retrieval. If you're interested to know why we do this level of work, soul retrieval is very key. And contact, of course. If you want to contact me, if you want to write to me, you can send me an email, of course, get in touch with me on social media, but you can also use this contact form. And I'll get back to people as soon as I'm able. So for now, I want to come back to the community membership. And maybe there are ways to help you to work with it. So you should be able to click on the community membership and go to the page where it's all at, the 3 levels of personal growth. Yeah. So level 1, level 2, level 3. And this is where there's been some changes, of course, because it no longer says the gathering, deeper knowing, or the offering. It says, community, circle, and the dance of leadership. And the circle this time around is the power of 13. Yeah. So lots of information there about these 3 levels. Yeah. And if you're part of this community, you will have already, you'll have already gone into the community here and be signed up for it. If you want to join the power of 13, I do ask that you join the community first so that you have an understanding of the work that we are doing. And then, of course, there is the Dance of Leadership, which will begin next year. Power 13 begins in February 2025. So you can find out more about it there. So if you're wanting to go into your own members login, find the link there. Go to members login, which will come up in a moment. It's a bit slow at the moment just because of I've got other things open here in my editing part of the website. So there you have level 1, community, level 2, the power of 13, level 3, the dance of leadership. And we're going to level 1. So we go into level 1. Community pages and quick links. Okay. So here we have page 1 with a welcome video and the Zoom details for our monthly meetups and a few bits of information, the Telegram discussions and drum journeys, dance, a few resources that you can use there. And then you can learn about the Oracle cards and Brenda May's artistry that's connected to that. And there is a piece in honor of Brenda May, who died 2 years ago and was the artist of the cards. You can find out more about her there and the wonderful work that she did. And if I go back up to the top, I can, from these links at the top here, I can also connect to page 2, the recordings and bonuses from our gatherings link. So yeah, I've recorded our meetups together. Now, whether I continue with it in this style or I just keep posting up recordings myself, whether people want to come to meetups with me, I'd like to know. So if you have any suggestions around that, please let me know, because it's not what everybody wants is to come to an actual gathering. They might prefer just to watch a video, and whatever you prefer, let me know. And I'm gathering information about that at the moment. Then page 3, recordings about the archetypes. Now just go into this page because this is quite new. You might not have seen this before. Take a few minutes. The archetypes from the Wheel of Souls return. So there's a video here. It's the archetypes of the first triad, and the second triad, and the third triad. Yeah. So that includes a more in-depth video on each of these. And I hope you'll find that useful. Okay. So that is quite new. Yeah, it's only just been posted there. So I'll go back then to this, and page 4 is some extra resources, which I will keep adding to over time. Excuse me. So you can go and visit the extra resources if you want to find out more information about certain things. Now, one of the things I suggest is if at any point you find yourself getting a bit lost in all of this, you can't find a page that you want, I always tend to bookmark my pages. So I go to bookmarks in my Chrome app, and I bookmark the page so that I can get to it more easily when I need to. That might be helpful for you to know. Okay, so that is the community pages and the quick links that you can find. And then at the bottom of each page, you will find that there is a button you can click to go to the next page and so forth. And there'll be one on the other side to go back to the previous page. Hopefully that is going to help. If you have any difficulties with membership, with this community platform, then I would love it if you would get in touch with me. Yeah, this is page 2. And here you will see the recordings from each of, that will include this one, this month. So all the different ones that we've done over the years. You see it's a little bit slow at the moment. So yeah. And then we can go back to the main homepage, and if there's any more information you want to find, you will find it there. I really hope that is helpful to you in some way. If you want any more information at all, do get in touch with me about that. There's me being a thespian and offering my work and hoping I'm doing okay with it. And, yeah. So I will bring that down now. Thank you all so much for allowing me to indulge in that for a little while. It's taken me ever such a lot of work to update everything and to be able to share it with you in this way. There was one thing that I was going to point out. If you are at all interested in the Power of 13, just to say, Power of 13 circle is here. I'm going to share a little bit on that with you. If you've been in the membership a while and you feel you would like to move on and deepen your work, then this will be an extraordinary experience for you. I have no doubt, because there is so much that we work on, so many beautiful creative resources that you can be involved in. Give me a bell, let me know if you're interested, or you can just go straight into click here to apply. It's £3,133, and you can break that into 3 payments if you wish to, or if you have any other difficulties with the payments, please just get in touch and we'll work something out that's going to work for you. The sessions are on a Saturday or a Sunday from 5 till 8 p.m. GMT. They coincide closely with the new moon, and there are 13 of them. And every fortnight, we will have a coaching session where you can meet with us and we'll discuss how you're getting on with the assignments, the creative assignments, and if you need any support along the way with that. Okay. So, and of course, there are mentoring sessions with me and one of my partners during that time. And also there is documentation, emails that you'll be sent with lots of information on them. So there we go. There we have it from me and Middle Earth Medicine. Yeah. I hope you are well. I hope you are enjoying the community platform so far. And one of my biggest dreams is that the members gradually will start to discover their particular gifts and start to share those on this platform too. I am done with being a lone wolf in all of this. I want to see other people's names and offerings as part of Middle Earth Medicine. I don't want to go it alone in any shape or form. I want to encourage you and support you in bringing your gifts out and to use this as a hub, to use this as a platform for your gifts and your offerings. And we will do everything we can to support you in that and let you know what that will entail. Okay, so much love and enjoy your day, and I hope to connect with you soon. Bye for now.